How did crowds in the US find you? Have you got much of a following over there, or a big following?
Yeah, it's been growing really well. Like, it's been quite weird over there because we haven't really had any support at all, even though we signed to Interscope for our first two records, but we didn't really get any sort of tour support or marketing or anything. We were the small fish in the big pond. So
Yeah, right.
it's just grown very slowly and organically over there. But I think in a way that's kind of worked in our favour, because that's the way we did it in Europe, and it just feels right, just going over there, touring, and just relying on, the actual music and the live show instead of being pushed in people's faces on MTV or whatever.
Sorry, it must feel a bit more satisfying too to do it that way.
Yeah, definitely. You feel a lot more sort of connected to people because, the only way they can grab and use at the shows, and because there's small shows out there, we still get to hang out at the merch after we've played and meet everyone. Yeah, so it just feels a lot more real.
Yeah, great. Correct me if I'm wrong. The band's still sort of on a independent release schedule in the UK. Is that right? You're doing it mostly through your own channels? Yeah. We've
got our own label, Ambush Reality. That's going really well. We've got distribution throughout Europe through PS, which is who we had for our first album, and that's great as well. So we're really happy at the moment.
And you've just had some chart success. I believe your latest album, A Flash Flood of Colour, reached #1.
Yeah, I mean, we're still on the midweeks at the moment. I guess it doesn't become an official recorded #1 until Sunday. So kind of fingers crossed, we're still #1 by a fair few thousand copies at the moment.
Was it a surprise when you first found out?
Yeah, it's mad, just waking up and seeing that happening. It was very strange, it wasn't something we ever really expected. Obviously incredible. But yeah, I don't know whether this album, I'm sure Adele or Bruno Mars or someone like that will catch us up by Sunday and we'll fall back down, from whence we came.
Can you put it down to anything, the fact that this album's been so popular, or is it, do you find it to be a bit of a departure from stuff you've done before, or do you think you're just building a bigger fan base, or what might it be?
Yeah, I think, again, just the way we've just sort of organically grown, really. People feel involved in it, and especially when it's an independent record, so people want to support it for that reason. It's a guitar record, an alternative record, which, especially in the charts, you don't really see much of that at all. I mean, I can only speak for over here, really. I'm not sure how it is over there.
Yeah, it's much the same.
And then, also as well, I guess it's a kind of a socially conscious record. You never see that in mainstream music, let alone in the charts. So I think a lot of people are supporting it for those reasons as well.
Yeah, cool. Well, yeah, especially the way the world is at the moment. They might have touched on a few notes with people. There's a lot of people unhappy with the way the world is at the moment.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we get so many people coming up to us now, not just the normal, I'm a fan and I love your music and stuff. There's very much a big percentage of the people are saying, I feel like you guys are just speaking to me. I think it's giving people confidence, especially when the bulk of music out there is just sort of quite mind-numbing, really.
Yeah. So, what are some of the issues and things that you felt the need to write about?
In general, A Flash Flood of Colour is supposed to be like an injection of positivity and hopefully empowerment. I think people can feel so disconnected from either their local community or global, on a global scale as well. And then on this album, we're really trying to get everyone to sort of step right back out of what their perceived normality is and just get some perspective on the world. Just kind of get a step outside the box and see how most of our problems we have today are global. And the root causes of those problems are the structure of the whole system. So it's really quite more at a psychological level.
We still have our problems over here, but we're a little bit isolated from the rest of the world in Australia. But I do see on the news, that the UK and Europe in particular are a lot more affected by the economic crisis at the moment, especially in the euro and global environmental problems and things. Are they the issues that you're referring to?
Just kind of linking everything together, where it is the environmental problems, whether you know climate change or whatever you want to label it as, or the kind of, I guess it's all the crises. You know, everywhere you look nowadays, there's a crisis, whether it's unemployment crisis, environmental crisis, a poverty crisis, health crisis, economic crisis. It just goes on and on.
Yeah.
What was really put across is everything. When you really analyse it properly, it's to do with the system we have at the moment. It's the way capitalism works. It's just a natural progression of capitalism. So we're really trying to get people to try and think outside of, you know, the way we organise society at the moment. So, for instance, the artwork is the upside down triangle. It's supposed to represent. We'll say today we mostly organise our societies in that kind of hierarchical pyramid, you know, shape. And it's supposed to be, just kind of turning that on its head, turning the triangle upside down, and just really stepping right back and seeing how else we can do work as a.
Yeah, great. Are you optimistic about world affairs and things? Does that come through in your music, do you think, or are you a bit more negative about these sorts of things?
No, I think I think positivity is really important for us. I think the music is mostly very sort of upbeat, and hopefully is more inclined to put a smile on someone's face than to sort of make them, you know, just needlessly angry. You know, anger can be a great tool, but you know, if it's just, you know, worthless negativity, then it's never going to do anything. In the lyrics, you know, a lyric in Search Party, for instance, is just all about encouraging people to feel like they can't change the world.
What are the influences that have sort of led Enter Shikari to want to write and sing about things with a social conscience? Was it other musicians that you're inspired by doing the same, or?
Yeah, I think it was a group of things. We were lucky enough to have a really healthy punk and hardcore ska scene locally to us when we were growing up. So I got to see a lot of typical to hardcore punk, really. You know, kind of stifling punch, and you know, for being a person brought up on mainly really bland Britpop and stuff like that, it was the coolest thing ever. You know, when a band kind of stood up for something. I think we immediately saw eye to that because we at the time were struggling with our local authorities. The council was trying to stop us promoting shows at our local youth club, and just trying to squash the youth. So we immediately had this disrespect for authority, and just because they had no argument really. I think that kind of us, and as we started, you know, touring further and further out, we sort of started to take on bigger issues, I suppose.
Yeah. Those genres you mentioned, punk and hardcore, are always best when they're about something serious, dissent and conflict and stuff. It's a shame that a lot of it now is sort of like pop music about parties and girls and.
Yeah, definitely. There is that. There seems to be a kind of a striving for new bands nowadays, just to be middle of the road. You know, just to fit in, to be bland, and like you say, have those ill, soulless, you know, mind-numbing lyrics.
Do you think, or hope at least, that your chart success with this album might show other bands that, you know, it can be done?
Yeah, definitely. I think so. Yeah, it seems like it is, you know, a victory for youth bands, and give people in bands that play similar styles of music that normally wouldn't get in the charts, and that sing about similar things to us. I think it definitely will put them